Shalom, my friends, shalom, my enemies. This is your old pal, Rabbi Sol Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. And, if I weren't in Great Neck, New York, and if I weren't in Israel, what other place would I possibly want to be? You know it, Florida, because that's where my people are. And this is where you should be, because you should be in Sarasota right now to see the nightclub cabaret performance of the lovely lady that you're looking at right now. Her name is CAROLE J. Bufford, and she is doing a show called Too Darn Hot. Well, because it's Florida. It's always too darn hot. And they got the big flying bugs. I hate that. But let me tell you a little bit about Carol here. She is a former Broadway World Vocalist of the Year. She is also a winner of a Bistro Award, which is a cabaret award that was started by Backstage, but is no longer Backstage, but they're still doing bistros. She has played at 54 Below, Birdland Jazz at Lincoln Center, and the Cabaret Convention. Main thing is, get yourself to Florida Studio Theater all the way from now until the middle of September, where she and a couple of other performers are doing Too Darn Hot. Please welcome the smoking hot Carole J. Bufford. Shalom! Hello, how are you?
Shalom! Hello.
How's it going? You're already doing the run, right? So how's it going?
I'm in the middle of the run. We are finishing up week 7 right now. 8 shows a week, and there's 12 total. So we go through September 14th.
So, what has it been the same from day one? Have you taken the song away, changed anything, or is it just, like a theater show where it's set?
We came in, or I came in, I hired the band locally. They're all local Sarasotan or Sarasota area musicians, fantastic band. And so we had a couple rehearsals before our tech with Florida Studio Theater. So we made a couple of tweaks during that process. And then during tech, like very, very minimal. And then it was set. We had like 2 previews, then opening night, and then it's been set ever since. Same show, 8 shows a week. We've had amazing audiences. It's selling extremely well, which is wonderful. And we've just had a blast. Great audiences here in Sarasota.
So first of all, I should have asked this question first. What is Too Darn Hot Songs for a Summer Night? Is it just Cole Porter, or what is it?
No, although that song is obviously in it. So Too Darn Hot originally started out, I was just doing a jazz set at Birdland, and I just kind of chose nights in summer themed music, and it was just kind of a mishmash of things. And then when Florida Studio Theater contacted me, their cabarets here are a little more like a cabaret slash theater hybrid. You're in an actual theater. There's lots of lighting cues. Everything's very set, and you have to have a script, which I usually don't have script for my shows. So we came up with a go between the two of us. I have cue lines that I'll always say, but up until that, I'm allowed to kind of say whatever I want.
I'm sorry, please remind me who's we. Who else is
Oh,
working with you?
me and Florida Studio Theater.
Oh, FST. Oh, yeah. But you're also
Yes.
you have a director, I assume,
I'm the director. I wrote the script. I, along with Ian Herman, wrote the arrangements for the show. So basically, in this iteration of it, we go by month: June, July, August, September, and there are 4 to 5 songs for each month, and we go through. But it's nighttime in summer, so you've got songs like "Summer in the City." You've got songs like "Walking My Baby Back Home," "Making Whoopee," "Another Bride," "Another June," things like
Oh,
that.
there we go. Well, I thought you
Yeah.
start in July. You start in June then. You
Start
go.
in June, because
Oh,
summer starts June 21st and
okay.
goes through September 21st. And
Ah.
the run of this particular show at FST started June 24th and goes through September 14th. So we're right smack in the middle there.
So let me see if I can sort of pluck some of these. Do you do? There's a Paul Simon song about where he does the months. April. Oh no, it's April. You can't do that.
No, but that was on my list. I have a big Excel sheet where I start with, way too many songs and then whittle them down. That one was on my Excel sheet, but we ended up not doing that. So we have, like, for instance, I start with Fever. even though it's not technically summer.
But you still go on stage even with a fever.
Even
This
with a
is a
fever.
trooper. Oh, you mean the song fever? I
Well,
mean.
if it's 103 outside, then if I'm only at 101, I'm fine.
But yeah,
um,
all right, I'm going to stop you there because I mean we all know the Peggy Lee. It's so iconic. How do you do it that makes it yours?
so we started in that traditional upright bass, boom, boom, boom. But then as we start to go on, we move with a little faster walking bass. It gets a little crazier, a little more chaotic throughout it. So I make sure it's a little faster tempo too than Peggy does it. We make sure to kind of spice it up and make it our own. Mm.
So you get to see this gorgeous person doing fever. What else? What else do you do? Well, like
Uh,
wait, fever
like
is what month?
that actually opens the show. So it is not assigned to
Ah,
any specific month. And then for every month, I've found a poem that was about that month that's in public domain that introduces that set. So for June, I found this great poem called June Nights. It was by Victor Hugo. Obviously, it's the English translation
ah.
of it. So I say the poem and then we move into the June section. So then you have like Making Whoopi, Another Bride, Another June, Blame It on the Summer Night, which is from the Broadway show Rags, Stephen
Oh,
Schwartz and Charles Strauss. Beautiful song. Stepping Out with My Baby. And that one,
yeah. I'm trying to run the
it's just,
lyrics to find the month. Yeah, okay, yeah.
well, so the month is not in that song, but it was released on June 30th, 1948.
That's cheating. Come on.
It's not cheating.
I mean, just find any song released in August.
Well,
Just,
as I tell the audience, the show is about summer and it's also about nighttime.
oh,
So
no.
it's some songs are specific to the nighttime.
Oh,
Like for
oh, do
instance,
do.
in
Yeah.
July we do In the Midnight Hour.
Hmm.
Wilson Pickett.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Do
Yeah.
you do Night in the City by Joni Mitchell? Because I think you could probably do a
Did
good
I
one.
what? Say that again?
Do you do Joni Mitchell's Night in the City? That's a lovely
I
song.
don't. No. I actually don't know that song. I gotta
Oh, you
look
need
that
to
one
know that
up.
song. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. Yeah, no, it's not a winter song. It would actually fit. I'm just saying. I'm just saying
Okay.
for the next
So
potential
well, some
iteration.
like a lot of people were saying, "Oh, you need to do can't even remember what the song was now. It was some song that mentioned the word September, and I said, yeah, but if you actually pay attention to the lyrics, it's not about
Uh,
September. It's about see you in September. That's what it was, that kind of a
I'll
thing.
see you in September, but
Yes.
it's winter now, so it doesn't work. Yeah,
Right, right, right. There's a lot
Ozzy
of songs
Osbourne's
like
War
that that are a little
Pigs.
tricky.
I'm
Yeah.
assuming you're not doing War Pigs by Ozzy Osbourne. I guess that one
I'm
wouldn't,
not,
even as
shockingly.
a tribute, you're probably not gonna
I
do that.
couldn't find a good way to do it with a jazz trio, you know?
A quartet or
There you go.
a
Listen,
septet would kill it. Would
a
absolutely
septet would
rock it.
kill it.
Yeah,
Octet done.
octet would be overkill, but that's my personal view. Now, for you as a musical person, you mentioned elsewhere. Now, maybe this was for the show you were doing back when you were interviewed about this, but is one of your musical touchstones vocally Dusty Springfield?
Love Dusty Springfield. Yes, I was doing a show. It was called You Don't Own Me, The Fearless Females of the 1960s. And Dusty Springfield played a very large role in that. I think she's one of the most brilliant vocalists ever. She's fabulous, absolutely fabulous.
What makes
Interesting voice, too.
Yeah, well, what makes her more interesting or better or more fabulous than other voices of the time? A Mama Cass, a Janis Joplin, a Joni, a Judy. Whoa, you know.
Well, all of those women are fabulous and unique for their reasons. Dusty, I particularly am drawn to her voice, I think, because she has a lot of blues inflections in her voice and a little bit and jazz too, frankly. So I think that's why I'm drawn. I mean, she was the blue-eyed soul girl, so that's why I think I'm drawn to her. Her music is very it tends to be more emotional and a little more dramatic, which I think is fun, So that as someone who loves that kind of music, that's what I'm drawn to. She just had a little smoky quality to her voice too that just makes you want to listen to her forever and ever. Janis Joplin, I love Janis Joplin, but I wish I could have seen Janis Joplin. She seems like the kind of person that I'd want to watch. Like she was just constantly on fire. We do a little tribute to Janis in Too Darn Hot, actually, because she did Summertime.
Oh, of course, yeah, sure.
Gershwin's Summertime.
Right.
And so we do a nod to her arrangement that she did with Big Brother and the Holding Company. Sam Andrew wrote her arrangement, which was based on Bach's Prelude in C minor. So we
Oh,
do
of
a
course.
little,
Who knew? Yeah.
I mean, you know, why wouldn't you?
Now, you brought this up, so I am very curious because
Mhm,
you had mentioned that when you do the poems in the show,
mhm.
they are public domain. You don't have to pay anybody, you don't have to worry about rights. What
Yes.
happens when you have to do a Dusty, not have to, when you want to do a Dusty Springfield tune, when you want to do, was it Curtis Mayfield or the person who,
Wilson Pickett, yes.
Wilson Pickett? Who does Florida Studios just take care of the rights things, or is it cabaret? You can do what you want, or what's the deal?
They
How do
do.
you
So
propose
all the
things?
like cabaret clubs in general will pay a blanket ASCAP fee. And then Florida Studio Theater is a little different because it is a theater. I believe because I have to send them my script and my set list ahead of time. So they may specifically actually pay for each individual song, but they take care of that, not me. But I know cabaret clubs like 54 and Birdland, they just pay a blanket fee yearly, I guess.
But the poems wouldn't fit into that because they're not ASCAP BMI. They're something else. They're
Correct, which is why when I was putting this together and realized I wanted to use the poems as goalposts, I had no clue what the deal was with that. So I said, I'm just going to find public domain and we won't have to worry about it.
and you must do a Tom Lehrer song. So let's
I,
see. Well,
I
no,
don't
who
do a
is
Tumblr, but you know, I was just saying the other day, I was like, I really would love to do a whole show of just irreverent Tom Lehrer, Randy Newman, like an entire show of that. It would just give me such joy.
so new? Why can't
I
you? Why can't that be your next project?
Oh, it certainly can be. I usually do a Randy Newman song in just about every show I do, unless it's about the fearless females of the 60s, because that would be weird.
Yeah,
But
that's
I've got a Randy in this one. Let's burn down the cornfield.
and I'll make love to you while it's pouring in.
Yes.
Yeah, again. Oh, so it's so good. I know what month is
On
it?
a cold night. So I put it
Oh,
in September because the nights are getting cold. The
okay.
poem that I used to set up that one, it plays right
Take
into
place
that.
into
So,
the thing.
mhm.
And did you know? I bet you knew this that Randy Newman arranged the Peggy Lee number way back.
I did know
Yeah,
that.
of course
Yes.
you knew
Yeah.
that.
Randy Newman is one of the most fascinating musical characters. Like the songs he wrote, the scores that he's written for films, just he's had his hand in everything. And he comes from that insane family too.
Right.
So, I mean, all of them, Alfred Newman, all of them are just brilliant. So,
And I'm amazed by Alfred Newman because he could write all those scores and things and be the cover of Mad Magazine. This I don't know how he did it. Where he found the time,
talent.
and it was so goofy looking. And but did you know that all the Newman family Jewish? Just saying, just saying. Now
Yeah.
you, I'm guessing, are Italian because you're marrying an Italian.
No.
No, you're marrying an Italian guy.
I
You're
married an Italian guy. Yes, he is very Italian. I'm all the pale people. I'm English, German, Irish, and a little bit of French.
I see the Irish. Well, I'm not going to ask about the hair color. I mean, it's good. I don't know if it's,
It's not real, but
but
but my grandfather, who was my namesake, he was Carroll. He was a redhead. My first cousins, many of them are redheads, so I knew it was going to work. I'm pale, the redhead, and it's fine.
now are you a Catholic?
I
If
am
you're,
not a Catholic. No, we
where
were
were you raised?
raised
Yeah.
in a Methodist church when I was a little kid, and then we moved to a Baptist church. And then when I hit 13, I said, "Can I stop going to church?"
There you are. As soon as
So,
I had my bar mitzvah, I was like, I'm either going to stop everything or become a rabbi. I flipped a coin, and it was a shekel actually. I mean, it was just boom. Oh, I went with rabbi.
oh, there you go.
I could have been a
See, my
cabaret
coin
singer
flips
now.
the other way.
You never know. So, mm, all right, let's go back to your training because you took musical theater in college, right?
I
You have a
did.
degree in it. Where? From where?
Ithaca College.
So what did you learn? What are the things that they taught you? I guess vocal preservation, but what else?
Oh, sure. There was lots of vocal training. It's kind of a double major of vocal performance and acting. So I had a whole lot of acting classes and a whole lot of music theory, that kind of. So I was in between two different schools, the drama school and the music school. And then there was, of course, dance. We took jazz, modern, tap, all of that. which was great fun. But I love to move, but I never took dance as a kid, so I always felt like I was 5 years behind every other person, a little too left feet situation.
Well, you did
Um,
mention that earlier, that you and Ian Herman did the arrangements for Too Darn Hot. So does that mean you can write music? You actually do musical arranging?
Yes, I taught myself how to at least do the copy for arrangements when I was hosting Birdland Jazz Party. This was 8 or 9 years ago, and we had to do a new show every single week. And I thought, oh my God, I'm going to be broke if I have to pay Ian Herman to write charts every single week, 16, 17 new songs every single week. So
Yeah.
I downloaded Finale. It was Finale at the time, which no longer exists now. Now it's Dorico. And I just taught myself how to write charts. Ian would help me. He's like been amazing teaching me all along. And so now I write the charts with his help, of course.
So
But
do you hear the accompaniment in your head? Like, let's say there's, how big is the ensemble for Too Darn Hot? How many
it's
musicians
just
are?
it's a trio for this particular show.
So
Piano, bass, drums.
piano bass. Oh, all right. So, but the piano, you do you kind of figure out the filigree that's going on behind you, or just the chords, or what?
Yeah, so the way it usually works is I will bring in just either chords that I've found online or sheet music in to Ian in the key that I've kind of found for myself, and then say, okay, this is what I'm thinking. I want it to have this feel. I want, like let's turn this into a waltz instead, or let's bring this into a more funk place or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I'll tell him like if I have any specific, I want to hit here, I want this here, and the two of us together will kind of work it through, figure out what we want. He'll usually go through and change, some chords. He'll say, I think this would be a more crunchy, delicious chord here, and he'll write it in, or he'll say, what do you think of this one? No, not that. Yeah, that one, whatever. And so we'll come up with the arrangement. I'll take all that chicken scratch back and
Oh,
translate it into Finale. But usually for trio and quartet shows, they're more jazz charts, so it's not written out exactly. There'll be maybe a beginning line that'll give you an idea of what the feel is. And then there'll be little hits, but it's usually just slash marks and chords in between. So there's a little more room for like jazz improvisation, basically, which is what I like. So when I brought it here, because I've done the show in New York,
right.
so
Yeah.
my band there, they played it a certain way. I bring it here, it's not identical, but it's the same arrangement. And I love that because when you move from different musicians, there's always just a little something new. So it kind of keeps you on your toes. People get to bring their own thing to it, and it doesn't just feel like, with musical theater, you have to play everything exactly,
Yeah.
note
Certainly
for
on a
note.
Broadway. Yeah. Yeah. No. No.
Right, which is,
Speaking
yeah,
of
go ahead.
musical theater, you came out of MTI with all this training as dancer. You knew you weren't going to be a dancer, but you could move.
Yes.
Musical writing, acting, musical vocal performance. At what point did you sort of think, I'm not going to go audition for Broadway show. I'm taking a singing path.
So I was getting frustrated right out of well, immediately after graduation, I booked a tour of Junie B. Jones, the musical. It was a TYA children's theater tour, and I'd never been to the West Coast, so I got to spend 9 months on like touring around the West Coast, which was delightful. It was perfect job for a 22-year-old. Sleeping in little tiny motels and driving vans around and putting sets up early in the morning. And I loved that. And then I was getting very frustrated. A lot of my auditions, people, my voice didn't fit my look. And that's very difficult for musical theater because I have a lower, more alto-y, sultry voice. And especially when I was 22, I looked very like
Well, people
sweet and
expected
ingenue.
Sandy Duncan, and
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
coming up
So
with
the only
maybe, yeah.
role that worked that I would constantly get called in for were like little boys, Peter Pan, these kinds of things.
Oh well, oh no, I get okay, I see it. I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All that. Which I did get to play Peter Pan, and I'm from Georgia originally, and I got to play it in Atlanta, so that was pretty special.
All right, okay.
Yeah, that was very special.
Have you
And I got to
done?
fly the whole thing.
Well, actually, did you, since school times, did you do other theater roles?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
what?
So for about the first 4 or 5 years post graduation, I did theater and auditioned solely for theater. I was not looking to do my own shows, and I was cast in a fringe show called Trouble in Shameland, a lovely piece by Brian Putnam, and I was cast as I was half boy prince and half evil queen. Which so I got to play both parts of my
That's half the
personality.
men on Broadway, ladies and gentlemen. But okay.
So it was a very fun role. And the producer of that, Jeff Landsman, he asked me, he said, "Have you ever thought of doing cabaret?" And where I am from in Georgia, in a tiny little town, that word means something very different. Because when you drive down the highway towards Florida, you see giant billboards that say cabaret, live nude girls, you know.
Oh. See, I thought he was literally thinking it was Sally Bowles in Cabaret, which I could see.
Well, I
I
would
was,
love that. That's
oh
another
no, but yeah,
dream
well,
role.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So,
Yep. I love me
yeah.
some
Oh,
Liza.
yeah.
So, but he asked me
Yeah.
that, and I was like,
Mm.
"Sir, how dare you?" And he said, "No, no, no, no. I mean your own solo show." So he then said, "I think you'd be great at this," and he produced my very first solo cabaret at the Duplex.
Oh, the
It was called,
duplex.
yes, it was called An Inappropriate Evening with Carol J. Bufford.
Ooh,
Mm.
it should
And
have been
so
the cabaret. There we go. Well, what was
I
it?
know, I know. I decided to put a little into it, you know.
What was the naughtiest song that you
You
did in
know,
your?
it was such a mishmash of a show. It wasn't all about specifically being naughty, though there were some of those. There was also me singing songs that were inappropriate for me.
They do that for benefits now, where they have
Right,
songs that women would never get to sing on. It's a song
exactly.
I got. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there was that. Then there were a few naughty songs, and then there I did a little segment, which I've really never done this since, where I did impersonations of people doing songs that were inappropriate for them.
Okay. Bring it. Bring
Like
it.
for
A cappella,
instance,
please. Oh, come on. Little bit.
for instance, one of them was Ethel Merman as Mary Poppins singing "Stay Awake" to all the children, it's like screaming in their faces, you know,
Could you?
"Stay awake, don't rest your head," that kind of thing, you know. Thank you.
Bravissima.
And
Bravissima.
then what was one of the other ones? Oh, I know. Julie Andrews singing "The Oldest Profession" from the Life, Lilius White song.
Yeah.
I'm getting too old for that, you know.
You're good. What is your
Why,
best?
thank you.
Those
Thank
were
you. I
pretty
don't
great.
do impersonations anymore because then I met people
Why?
like, well, I met people like Christina Bianco who were like, oh, brilliant at it. And I thought, I don't know that this is my speed.
You could try. You could bring. You
I
have
know
to.
what I-
You have to. Oh my God. So, um,
So, oh
where
yeah,
was?
so that was my first cabaret.
Yeah.
Then I kind of stopped for a little bit. I didn't think about it again and went back to the musical theater. Then I came up with an arrangement for Folsom Prison Blues that I desperately wanted to sing.
Hmm.
And I saw an ad in Backstage for this contest at the now unfortunately gone Metropolitan Room called the Metro Star Contest. And I signed up for that just so I could sing my my version of
Folsom
Folsom
Prison
Prison
Blues.
Blues. And it went very well. I made it all the way to the end of the contest, but I did not win. And I there were two gentlemen in attendance that night who were upset, I guess, that I didn't win, and that was Scott Siegel
Oh,
and Donald
Barbara.
Smith.
Not Barbara Siegel. It's Scott Smith. And who Smith?
Well, yes, Scott Siegel and Barbara Siegel, they were both there, and then Donald Smith, two separate entities. So Donald Smith invited me to do the cabaret convention, and Scott Siegel and Barbara Siegel invited me to do Broadway by the year. And that kind of was a little entree into more in that cabaret world. Scott Siegel then produced several cabarets for me at the Metropolitan Room. I did Body and Soul with him. I did Shades of Blue, and then I did a couple shows at 54 Below that he also produced. And then I started doing the cabaret convention every single year. And Donald Smith was very sweet after my very first performance at the cabaret convention. He put me in the second to last position in the first act. And he said, "Here's what I want you to do. I want you to take a notebook and a pen. After you sing, you're going to, everyone's going to go crazy for you. I want you to go out into the lobby and start meeting people, shaking their hands, and telling them to sign up for your mailing list, get their email addresses, and start building your list." And I met so many people. So the very next show I did after that, it was really well sold
Good
and
man.
it's
Good.
lovely. So he was very,
But I'm
very
still
sweet, but
stuck
so
on
great.
one thing.
Tell
What
me.
did you do to or with Folsom Prison Blues to make? We talked about the Peggy Lee thing before. To take it away from Johnny Cash, did you keep it serious? Did you mock it? I mean, what did you do?
It's not a full mock. It's I okay. Long story. I'll keep it brief, but
Okay.
I went down a YouTube rabbit hole one day about how in the night I've always loved the 1920s in general, the music, the time period, and I saw in this little mini documentary that the women's prisons in the 1920s became so overcrowded because so many women were committing crimes that they started having to ship them into men's prisons. And it just, that song popped into my head, and I thought, what if we gave this song a Bessie Smith treatment? And it already is a 12 bar blues. Like that, those are the chords. It is a 12 bar blues. So instead of doing the Johnny Cash thing with it, we moved it into the I
I hear.
hear the train a coming, that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So we moved it into that. So, and it's from a woman's point of view. I sing, when I was just a young girl, my mama told me hun rather than son,
I
and
yeah.
so sometimes when I do it, I tell that little story to set it up, that this is this woman who was shipped off to a men's prison, that kind of a thing.
Now, this leads to another quote of yours, a quote that says, you have said this, quote, "I love singing angry, wailing, belting, screw you songs," which is basically what I sing in temple. But why do you feel,
When did I say that? That's so true, but I don't remember
yeah,
saying
yeah, I
that, but
guess
I believe it.
I don't have that into the annotated bibliography citation of this, but you did say it at some point, and I get
Totally
it.
believe that.
But is it because you go for things that look different from what you're expected to be, or is it something else inside you that goes for this kind of?
I like hearing that music. I'm a very positive, optimistic, pretty happy human being in general, and I think it's
You're not Jewish. You're so not
because
Jewish.
I
Yeah.
think it's because I let myself sing songs like that, so I'm not just angry all the time. I get it out on stage. I
Question
don't.
for you. By the way, we're
They're
talking to
fun.
Carol.
It's cathartic.
It is. It is. Question for CAROLE J. Bufford, who, by the way, we should remind people, is appearing in Too Darn Hot, which is playing at Florida Studio Theater in Sarasota, Florida, now through September 14th. Get your tickets, floridastudiotheater.org. And it's theater with an ER on the end of the thing, like the Europeans do.
The
Because
fancy theater.
it is. It is. What was the first album or record or 45 or whatever that you, but you're too young for 45. What was the first piece of music that you bought with your own money as like a
So
teenager?
this is something I talk about in the show. Did you know that?
No, I actually didn't. I'm
Oh my God.
psychic. No, psychic. That's it. Yes.
That's so funny. This is literally a question that I posed to the audience to set up one of the songs in Too Darn Hot. This is amazing.
Uh,
So, the very first, it was a cassette tape that I bought with my own money. And it was the best of Johnny Rivers.
Johnny Rivers. Oh, wait. Is he did?
Secret
I can
Agent
see clearly.
Man,
Well, I'm sorry. Which?
Secret Agent Man, Tracks of My Tears. There's so many great songs. So, but my grandfather is a pianist and he plays a lot of boogie woogie. And he always used to play I Got the Rockin' Pneumonia and the Boogie Woogie Flu.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was obsessed with that song. And he told me one of his favorite covers of it was Johnny Rivers. And so I thought, okay, well, that's what I have to buy. So I bought the best of Johnny Rivers on cassette tape and I listened to it over and over, every track, a gem. And when I was putting this show together, like my brain just jumped back. He did a song called Summer Rain that he also co-wrote. And we put that in the show, Summer Rain Taps at My Window. And it's a great little tune. So we put that in the show, but that's my setup for it. So that is so funny that you asked me that.
So if people go to see Carolyn Too Darn Hot, that's the moment when you can signal the waitress over, get your drink refill, go to the bathroom because you've already heard
You've
the
heard the story.
You know, you don't need to be there for that 2 minutes.
It's old hat. Or you can call it out and just ruin my
You're done.
setup.
Yeah. Now let's get a little bit personal because we did mention that you met a nice Italian gentleman. How did you meet your husband, and how long have you been together, and blah blah? Is he a show busy person too, or not?
Not technically, no. I met him in college. We were friends in college. We did not date during college. We dated post college when I was doing that aforementioned tour. He lived in LA, I lived in New York, and I saw him when I went on tour out there and thought, hmm. And then he came back for New Year's one year, like the following New Year's, I believe. And then we kind of started dating off and on long distance. Then he finally moved back to the East Coast. We have been married for 13 years. Yes, thank you. And we've been together, I think it was about 7 or 8 years before that. So we've been together a
Oh,
long time.
oh,
Yeah.
that is a. So how do you make it? I mean, it's not two performers then, which I guess is
Oh,
almost
yes. So
yeah.
he works online. That's his job. And so he's able to travel with me though wherever I go because he needs Wi-Fi and that's it basically to do his job. But he also studied sound engineering and he has an exquisite pair of ears. And so
I'm glad you went
is
with ears on that. Okay, yes, all right.
he's got other exquisite things too. But
Yes. No,
but no,
so
he
when you set up at FST, he's there to listen that during the check.
absolutely. He's
And
able to help me out with all that. And also, whenever I've done recordings for albums, things like that, he's just immensely helpful. I mean, also just, he helps me sell CDs after the show. Things, little things like that. Having one other person there is uber helpful. Plus, we get to remain married because we get to see each other, because otherwise I'd never see him. So,
well, sometimes that's the best thing, but not all. Let me. I don't suppose you have next to you or near you. You mentioned. See, what is your latest CD? Where can we
oh,
buy? Where can we?
let me see if I have any
Honey,
right
can you
around.
grab that for her,
I know. Oh, 1 second. I'll be
darling?
right back.
Yeah. You're watching Dave's Gone By with me, Rabbi Sol Solomon. We're interviewing CAROLE J. Bufford. Has put together, she is singing in, she has written the interstitial material for and directed a show called Too Darn Hot, Songs for a Summer Night. It is playing at FST, Florida Studio Theater out there in Sarasota, Florida, and you have a little bit of time to see it. It's playing through September 14th. And as you've heard, yes, there's some Cole Porter in it, but it's basically the months of the summer months of the year told through song. Okay, did you find a CD?
I found both of them, two albums, All by Myself, the
And
Irving Berlin All by Myself,
oh yeah.
and Come Together. So this one is all 60s and 70s music taken from two of my shows, the Fearless Females of the 60s, and then I did another show called Come Together. And this one's just a mix of everything. And you can see what the fourth track is, Folsom
Oh, the
Prison
present.
Blues.
Whoa, so we can actually buy the CD to hear what you've been talking about. And can we get them? Is it CarolJBuffer.com? Do you have a
You can find them at caroljbuffer.com. They're also on Spotify. If that's how you do your music. Wherever you do your music, that's where it is.
I basically do it in the bathroom with bongos, but that's
Me too.
so. Last little couple of questions for Carol J. Bufford. What is your favorite song ever? Favorite song to sing, but also a favorite song that you might not say, might not be right for you, but that you love, 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 love.
Ooh, okay. Favorite song to sing? Probably After You've Gone. I love After You've Gone. Um,
Most people love After I've Gone. They hate me when I'm there, but yes, okay.
I especially like the verse of After You've Gone. which not as many people do. And I liked it so much that I didn't do it at the beginning. I put it slap in the middle of the song in my arrangement of it. It's a very satisfying song to sing. So that might be my favorite. Folsom's on up there, frankly.
Okay.
Yeah. The one that in this particular show I'm doing that is my favorite is it's actually an Adele song. It's called When We Were Young. And I think it's just an exquisitely written song. It's a beautiful story song, which I always like. Um, and yeah, that's probably my favorite song to do in this specific show. I have a lot of favorites though. And what was the other question?
Well,
A
it's
song that I
also a song that you don't sing, or at least professionally, that you love, but it's not, it wouldn't be necessarily in your wheelhouse, or a song you grew up with.
Oh golly. Anything that's out of my range. Anything that a soprano sings.
There you go.
No, there's definitely some Julie Andrews songs that I think, oh God, wouldn't it be fun to be able to sing that like
Wouldn't it be
that? But
loverly to be able to sing that?
it would be loverly. So, but you can always just drop it down a fifth and let's go.
And the other question is, in your years of doing the cabaret conventions and everything, and learning to do what you do professionally, was there a performance that you've seen by another cabaret? Won't even have to be a legend, but a notable that was the best knock your socks off evening of cabaret that you've ever witnessed?
Catherine Russell at Birdland. I would say she's more in the jazz realm, but she is one of the most exquisite singers, artists that I know. She is a throwback to like a Dinah Washington style singer, and Dinah Washington's like maybe my favorite singer. It's a tie between Dinah and Judy. Um, and Catherine Russell's she's just always squarely in the pocket. She picks excellent material, lots of songs that are in a more bluesy realm, which I love. So probably that would be top. Now, favorite cabaret, I mean, Marilyn May, like, come
I
on.
know, still at it. My
Come
God.
on. Like, it just doesn't get better than that. Oh, and I'll tell you one other one too. This one it knocked my socks off. T. Oliver Reed did a show called Drop Me Off in Harlem at the Metropolitan Room. This was years ago, and it was all music from, I think it was 1934. And it was one of the most exquisite nights of music I have ever seen. Just so stunning. He did the most brilliant arrangement of I Got the World on a String that left me in tears at the end. Just stunning.
E.
Beautiful actor.
Oliver Reed. That's interesting. I gotta
T.
look him.
Oliver Reed, yes. He does a lot of Broadway. Um, and I'm not. I think he's in Hadestown right now on Broadway. I think he's still in it. But yeah, so he's done a lot of Broadway shows, but he does his own shows occasionally when we're all lucky enough to get him. So that was definitely one.
Well, we have been very, very lucky to have Carol J. Bufford with us in the neighborhood. Do go see
Yay!
her in Too Darn Hot at Florida Studio Theater. You have a few weeks to do it. Get your tickets at floridastudiotheater.org. Plus, you can get her CDs, which are available at her own website, caroljbufford.com. There they are. Plus on Spotify and CD Baby and CD Adult and CD Geriatric, whatever. Last question before I let you go.
Yes.
Since you've been performing for all these years, what is the weirdest, funniest, strangest, scariest thing that has ever happened when you've been on stage? Whether it's in the audience or back or on this, what?
Uh, there's been a lot. I mean, the one that stands out to me right now, it actually is not a cabaret thing. I was in a play in high school, and it was called Playing for Time. Do you remember that? It was they made
The
like a
Holocaust
TV.
thing or no?
Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, with a bunch of Gentiles in Lincolnton, Georgia, and I
At least it
played.
wasn't a Vanessa Redgrave, so we won't
And
go
there was
there.
no Vanessa Redgrave, yes. And I played this character, Marianne, who was a bit of a harlot. And she was kind of sleeping with the SS officers to get food. And they gave her a piece of sausage. And this sounds
Literally,
like a
not,
terrible, dirty joke, but
yeah.
and I was like, we actually use real food, and I just started choking on it and had this whole monologue to deliver. And I like tears were streaming down my face, not because I was a great actor, but because I was literally physically joking. And I got
Joking.
off stage. There was huge applause. I got off stage. My drama teacher was like, "The best you've ever done." I'm like,
And children, this is the lesson of why you should go kosher and not eat sausage. It could kill
exactly.
you. But I'm so glad I asked that question. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again to Carol J. Bufford for being such a delightful guest in the neighborhood. We wish you more music. We wish you much more. Turn up the heat on Too Darn Hot and get cracking on that weird, funny novelty Randy Learer Newman project thing. Get
Yes,
that going.
yes, yes. Thank you so much for having me.
Shalom to you.
Shalom. Mwah.